One of the issues that I think a lot about now, a lot of you are going to say, "What, Clay, you're getting old. Next month, I'll turn 45. There's a ranking here for overall happiness in countries. This is the Wall Street Journal that I'm reading from. Finland, this is the top 10 happiest countries. Finland is 1, Denmark 2, Iceland 3, Sweden, Israel, the Netherlands, Norway, Luxembourg, Switzerland, and Australia are the 10 happiest countries in the world, according to this study. And then you have New Zealand is 11, Costa Rica is 12, Kuwait is 13, Austria 14, Canada 15. The United States is the 23rd happiest country in the world, according to this study. And what stood out to me was this is the lowest we've ever been in this study. They've been doing it for a while. People who are 60 and older would put the United States as the 10th happiest country in the world. Okay. People who are under 30 would make the United States the 62nd happiest country in the world. 62nd. No other country in the top 25 has as large of a gap between people over the age of 60 and people under the age of 30. A gap of 52 in the rankings. That's why we're 23, because young people are profoundly unhappy in the United States. And by the way, where are young people happy? Israel. Israel young people are the second happiest in the world. You might know that Israel is currently at war with Gaza. So if you had to choose right now, hey, would you rather, and you're mandated, I believe, in Israel to have to serve in the armed forces, who do you think has an easier life right now, Americans or Israelis? I think most of you would say Americans do. Costa Rica, 30 and under, 11th happiest. Kuwait, 14th happiest. Maybe it's 16. My eyesight's not great. You look at all this list, Lithuania. Young people in Lithuania are the happiest in the world. Do you think American youth or Lithuanian youth have a harder lifestyle right now? Right? I mean, this is all interesting. And it is true that as you age, you tend to get happier. Usually unhappiness peaks in like your 20s, 30s, and 40s. And then in your 50s, 60s, and 70s, your happiness goes back up. Okay. Why is this happening? I don't think there's very many people out there that would argue that this is happening, that young people are profoundly unhappy in America today. What's causing this? I think it's the woke ideology. I think the decline in religion has led many people to embrace wokeism as a religion. And the religion of wokeism is incredibly nihilistic. It teaches you that America is a profoundly evil country, that the legacy of slavery makes everyone a victim or a colonizer, that everyone is responsible for everything awful that has ever occurred, and no one gets credit for anything good that has ever occurred. And I don't buy for people under the age of 30 that their lives are worse than people over the age of 60, right? World War II, the Great Depression, Vietnam, the Civil Rights era. The reality is people that are older than you, if you are watching me right now and you're in your 20s or you're in your 30s, people who are older than you had far tougher lives than you have. I get it. Education's expensive. The Biden administration, costs have skyrocketed. Rent is expensive. Mortgage rates are high. Not disputing any of that. I'm just here to tell you that your life is better from an economic perspective than your average person in Lithuania who are profoundly happy. And your life is less dangerous than the average person in Israel, and they're way happier than you too. What's happened? I think there's an incredible void and absence of purpose in American life. And I think young people are so desperate for meaning that many of them have bought into this wokeism ideology, which teaches you that your gender is made up, that you can be any gender. It teaches you that American history is awful and racist and indefensible. It also teaches you, unfortunately, you have lots of free time because America's so wealthy, and you have so many incredible luxuries that you can all sit around on your phone and you sit there on social media scrolling through, and you're all jealous of somebody else who's richer or prettier or has more or has better lifestyle than you do, and it leads to profound unhappiness. It's you. This is important. You are responsible for your own happiness and your own self-worth. No one else is. I tell my kids this all the time. I got a 16-year-old, a 13-year-old, and a 9-year-old, 3 boys. Nobody else exists to make you happy. Nobody else exists to fulfill your life's ambition or to make you pleased with what happens in your life. Not your partner, not your mom and dad, not your teachers. It's on you. The only hand you can rely on is the one at the end of your sleeve. And if you are unhappy, it's not the world, it's not the president, it's not what somebody else said on social media. It's because you aren't tough enough to maintain and own your own pursuit of happiness. United States, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The pursuit of happiness. The pursuit. You chase it. It is on you to find your own level of happiness. And if you are profoundly unhappy, I would suggest to you that you should be upset about all the people out there that are trying to teach you that you're a victim and that your country sucks and that everybody around you is making your life so hard. Grab your damn binky and curl up in the fetal position if you want to, and get on your phone and scroll through and look at all the other people out there that are doing better than you. Or you can sack up, man or woman, you ain't some in between, and decide that you are going to own your own life's history. And let me tell you, the moment that you grab control of your narrative and that you own the outcome of your life, your happiness is going to start to go up. Because self-reliance is a pathway to happiness, because what you learn is that it's not the external world that is creating the way you feel inside. It's your brain. You own it. No one else can make you happy. The right boyfriend is not going to make you happy. The right girlfriend is not going to make you happy. The right husband is not going to make you happy. The right wife is not going to make you happy. The right job is not going to make you happy. You control the key to whether you're going to be happy. And guess what? Even happy people sometimes aren't happy. Sometimes you have to self-regulate your feelings and actually examine them and say, am I logically being a pussy right now? Is this really that big of a deal? The pursuit of happiness is all internal. You might think I'm an old guy and I got no idea what I'm talking about. I think most people would say I've been pretty happy most of my life. Doesn't mean that everything's been great. I've been fired a bunch of times. I've had a lot of times where I didn't have very much money. I've had a lot of times where my wife is mad at me. I've had a lot of time where everything's not going perfect with my kids, or not going perfect with work, or not going perfect in the larger external world. but I found a way to be happy. And it's not because America's an awful racist country. If that were true, why are millions of people willing to risk their entire lives to get here? If you're starting to think, and I know a lot of you are, maybe you're watching this on TikTok, maybe you're watching this on Instagram. If you're starting to think a lot of what you're being told by people around you isn't actually healthy for you, and maybe it's not even true, you're probably right. Take control of your media environment. Take control of your external environment. Take control of your life. Pursue happiness on your own devices. Sometimes that means getting off your devices, following people who constantly drag you down. Don't allow it. I saw a college football coach, I thought made a great analogy. He said you can't surround yourself with energy vampires. It's a great phrase. If you find yourself surrounded by groups of people that constantly drain your energy and pull you down and don't believe in your own success, you got to find a new circle. Don't allow yourself to be overcome by people surrounding you that are dragging you down. Surround yourself by people who want to uplift you, who want to believe that you can achieve something more. That's all great, but understand that ultimately only one hand, the one at your end of your sleeve, is responsible for whether you succeed or fail. And once you do that, once you condition your mind to understand that nobody else controls whether you succeed or fail, I guarantee you, you will start to be happier, because when you are the master of your own fate, you will find that your overall happiness starts to grow. You're very fortunate to live in America. 99% of the people in other countries in the rest of the world would trade countries with you in a heartbeat. You're not a victim. The world is not aligned against you. You are tougher than you think you are, and you are capable of more than you believe. This has been my TED Talk. Stop being a pussy. Own your own fate. Own your own future. Stop whining and get dominant. I tell my kids 2 things every day. They make fun of me, but I do it. When I drop them off at school, I say, I only want you to do 2 things: dominate and have fun. If you dominate and you have fun, you're going to succeed. That's my charge to all of you about this ridiculous happiness ratings gap. You know what's challenging? Being on a ship, having to get off while Nazis are firing at you. You know what's challenging? 35% unemployment rate. You know what's not challenging? The Wi-Fi being spotty in your house. Stop being a pussy. Get control of your life.